And let's talk about week number 4, Ron.
Well, let's talk about our upset specials before you get there.
Oh, yes.
I know we didn't talk about that last week. So you, this is 2 weeks in a row you hit on yours, right?
I don't think I hit week 3. Let me see. Who did I pick week 3?
So
oh no, I did.
Yeah.
I did win the Cleveland New York Giants game, and then week 2, who did I have on my upset special?
You had Tampa beating Detroit.
Yeah, I am on a roll, so to speak.
Yeah.
Listen.
So you had
I had the Giants winning.
Wow.
Because I think Watson just stick a fork in him. I don't know why. Why he hasn't been good in like 4 years. He hasn't been good in 4 years. He doesn't have Nick Chubb to protect him. He's basically naked out there. And I don't mean that as a pun. He's just out there. I don't even know what he's doing. And the thing is, Cleveland is basically stuck with him, right?
Yeah.
They gave him that guaranteed contract. They're stuck with him. And full disclosure, I did not watch any of these games because I was at the beach. But the Giants, who I think you said that Malik Neighbors could be rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. But is that who you chose?
I think I ended up going with Caleb Williams for the offensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Malik Neighbors and Harrison are both in good situations, but Neighbors specifically, he's going to get force-fed the ball. They don't have a lot of options there. They know how good Neighbors is, so they're just going to, and they've done a really good job the last 2 weeks of like designing plays to get him the ball. 8 catches this week. I think he probably had like 8 the week before too. They're finding ways to get him the ball, which is what you're supposed to do, with your good players, especially your young players. Get them out there, throw screen passes, whatever you got to do. Give them reverses, get them in the game, because that's your best player. You drafted him, and you got to use them. So that's what the Giants have been doing. And win, lose, or draw, I think that's the right approach, for the Giants for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the awards, and you did go with Williams. And I went with, guess who? The hottest rookie right now, Jaden Daniels. And we'll talk about him along the line in the podcast because you know why. He's part of my upset special. But we'll talk about it when it comes. So let's jump into week 4. And we are going to skip the Thursday night game because that is part of your upset special. So we'll skip it for now, but we'll go. This is Saturday game? Is that right? No, that's Sunday. New Orleans Saints at Atlanta. And I put these at Monday's spreads, so if it's the spread change, sorry, I didn't update in time. Atlanta is favored by 2 points. The over and under is 42.5. Who'd you go with, Ron?
I'm sticking with my Atlanta, right? They were my upset special last week. We need to talk about that. They blew that game last week against Kansas City. They should have won that one. Just horrible officiating at the end with the non-pass interference call, and then that 4th and 1 decision was just a really bad play call. But they should have won that game. I think Atlanta, like I told you, is a really good team. You'll see that when you get to my rankings. I got them winning this game. I think it'll be a close game. New Orleans, like I said, is playing really well. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for Atlanta. They don't seem to have home court or home field advantage anymore when they play at home. So that's kind of disappointing, I'm sure, for Atlanta. But I think they'll hold on to win this game.
I'm going with the Saints only because this is indoors on turf. I want David Carr should have a good game. but mostly I picked New Orleans Saints because the Ring of Honor, they did it last Sunday, right, against Kansas City, and it was Arthur Blank who nominated himself, but he also owns a team, so it was kind of weird that he nominated himself to the Ring of Honor even though he owns a team. Big production, special jackets. I mean, I guess you can do that kind of stuff when you own the team, but come on, man. I mean, come on. And he was pushing a lot of stuff. He was like, "Oh, I give to the community," and I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I want to go to Atlanta Field in person because I heard they have the best food. So I'll give them prop for that, for having the best food in NFL stadiums.
One of the nicest stadiums, yeah.
One of the nicest stadiums, but come on, man. You anointed yourself into the Ring of Honor for the Atlanta Falcons, sorry? I don't know. To me, that's just very fishy, but hey, it's his team, so he can do whatever he wants. The next game, the Rams at the Bears. Bears are favored by 2 points. The over and under is 40 and a half. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I went with the Rams here. I know they have a lot of injuries. At the end of the day, though, I think it'll come down to the quarterback position. And like you said earlier, Caleb's running for his life. Whereas, Matt Stafford's he's just one of the best quarterbacks in the league, period. I don't think he ever gets the credit for being that, but he keeps his team in it all the time. I got the Rams winning.
So I want you to say, Ron, on a recorded line, you're off the Chicago Bears now.
I am officially off the Chicago bandwagon. And it's not so much about Caleb Williams. It's just that offensive line is just horrible. The running back, Swift, has looked terrible. I don't know what's going on with him either. But I'm off that bandwagon.
So why do you think they gave Swift the money instead of Barkley? Because
I don't know.
It was only like $8 million difference. You could have had Barkley instead of Swift.
I don't necessarily think Swift, they needed him to go in and be, 1,000-yard running back, although I think he should have been able to do that based on what we've seen in the past. But, look at the Giants and what they're doing with, their running back, right? That guy's looking good. What's his name? Singletary?
But they only won one game.
Yeah, but he's still playing well. That's my point. Whereas, Swift, he's not running well at all.
This is the thing. So, it's like I'm questioning the Chicago Bears GM because he knew he had the first round pick. He knew he was gonna pick Williams. Why not protect him with Barkley? Why not, say, okay, let me sign a veteran so that way if Williams goes sideways, Barkley's there to back him up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me think like, do you guys know what you're doing? What was the whole point of Hard Knocks? To make you look good on TV, but then in real life, you didn't have a plan? And that coach for the Bears, I don't even know if he's good. Because now I feel like he has the players, but he's still not drawing up the calls for him. So
can you guess how many yards Swift has so far rushing?
I know he's averaging like 2.5 or something ridiculous.
He has 68 yards rushing. He is averaging 1.8 yards.
How many does Barkley have?
Oh my gosh. Barkley's way up there. Let me see if I can pull up his stats real quick. I'm sure he's leading the league for sure. So 351 yards already on 63 attempts, 5.6 average. 4 touchdowns and also 10 receptions to go along with that. And I looked up Singletary's stats too. He's having like I said, like what I expected from him. So he got close to 200 yards, 197 already, 4.7 per carry, 2 touchdowns. So I think that's more in line, I think, what people expected from Swift in Chicago, and they're not getting anything close to that.
No.
So he's been a huge disappointment.
I think what happened with Swift is that he looked great in Philly because they had a good offensive line. And Kelsey was a center, so things were great. Now that he has a bad offensive line, he's hurting. And so is Williams. Minnesota at Green Bay. Packers are favored by 3 points. The over and under is 43.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay here. This is in Green Bay. I think, listen, Minnesota's a good team. They can certainly win this game, but I just have a feeling, what's his name? The quarterback's going to play here. So give me Green Bay to win this one.
So you think Love will play in this game?
I think so.
I'm going with Minnesota. I'm riding the hot Sam Darnold, and I want to apologize to Sam Darnold. I know I made many jokes about him seeing ghosts and how terrible he was with the Jets, how bad he was with Carolina. I don't know if he even played with the Niners that much. A couple of games I think Brock Purdy missed, but listen, I like what Brian Flores is doing with his defense. He has them flying everywhere. You don't know the scheme, and I told you, he has his defense with the most sacks. I don't know what the turnover is, but I just love what he's doing. I love Kevin O'Connell as a head coach. He beat Bill Belichick a couple of times. I like what they're doing in the Vikings, and I just like the Vikings a lot. The next game, Denver Broncos at New York Jets. The Jets are favored by 7 points, which is kind of high, but the over-under is 38.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
I'm going with the Jets. I know Denver, I think they just came off a win, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they beat the Bucks.
Yeah, but I'm going with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jets too. I think they have a better roster, but I think this game can be close. It's in MetLife Stadium. Let's see. I just think that 7 points is a little bit too high, but it is Bo Nix, and I think he had a rushing touchdown, but not a passing one. The next game, the Eagles are at the Bucks. Eagles are favored by 2.5. The over/under is 44.5. Ron, who'd you pick?
Yeah, it's a tough one here. I ended up going with Philly. I think I'm going to stick with that. I think they are the better roster for sure. I love Baker Mayfield, but after seeing last week, there's definitely some question marks on Tampa's defense. So give me Philly to win this one.
Yeah, I also went with Philly only because I feel like their defense is coming along. I think they finally got to the quarterback. That game against Atlanta, they didn't get to the quarterback as much. They got to the quarterback against the Saints, and I think it's going to be the same against Tampa. They're going to get to the quarterback. The next game, Ron, Bengals at Panthers. Bengals are favored by 2.5. The 47.5 is over and under. Who'd you go with?
I went with Cincinnati. I don't feel confident in this one at all. I think, I don't know what's going on. So speaking of dysfunctional teams, they got to turn things around real quick. Cincinnati does. Carolina, like I said, they still got a lot of holes. I don't know if the change in quarterback is sufficient to beat the Bengals. I'm going with Cincinnati.
I went with Cincinnati. I know they're 0-3, and it's basically the kiss of death. They're going to be a lot of points because neither of these teams play defense whatsoever. I just think Joe Burrows might score more, but listen, they let Washington with a rookie quarterback go all over the place. I don't know what Andy Dalton is going to do in this team, so 2.5 sounds about right. Next game is the Jaguars at Texans. Texans are favored by 6 points. 45.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I went with the Texans. I think they probably felt embarrassed with what happened in Minnesota. They're going to look to rebound, and I think they'll take it out on Jacksonville. This could be a beatdown.
Is Mixon going to be back for this game?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if they need him necessarily, though.
I know last week they got hurt by not having Mixon there on the game, and I think whether or not Mixon comes back is going to determine. I went with Houston, but it's going to determine whether this is a close game or not a close game. I don't know what. I mean, the Jaguars, are they throwing the kitchen sink at the Texans for this game or no?
No, it's a must-win for them, too, I think. They probably feel that way. The pressure's on them, so I just have more faith in what Houston's doing and more confidence in their coaching and the players themselves, too, to turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, 0-3, you have to throw the kitchen sink in this game. 0-3. The next game is the Browns at Raiders. Raiders are favored by 1.5. The over and under is 37.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, believe it or not, I went with Cleveland here. The situation with the Raiders and their quarterback and like who's going to be starting this week and all that stuff. That's not, you got to have that figured out. That gave me pause a little bit. I know Cleveland's Cleveland and they'll figure out a way to blow this game, but I got Cleveland winning this one.
I went with the Raiders only because, again, I'm not going with Watson. I'm sorry, I'm not going with Watson. Until they make a change. Winston is there. Why not put Winston in? He's there. What's that other player? DTR, whatever his nickname is. He's there. Why not throw anybody but Watson? Anybody but Watson. That's why I went with the Raiders. And I'm not a big Antonio Pierce fan, but listen, he's at home. He should be better than the Browns. I'm sticking to that rule of be a home dog and just win it. Just win it outright. Next game is the Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs are favored by 8 points. The over and under is 30.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
Kansas City. Chargers are way too banged up. I don't know if Herbert's going to play. Their safety just got suspended for a game. They got a number of injuries. I just don't see them pulling it off. I think Chiefs will win this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a home game for the Chiefs. I picture it a lot of red and yellow on the field, on the stands. I went with KC only because I'm starting to believe, Ron, that the refs are on the Chiefs side. I'm starting to believe because there's some plays that you just like, what's going on right now? Why are they not calling that? Like,
did you feel that way when the Patriots were in their run?
I did feel that way only because we talk about Brady getting suspended and deflated and all that stuff. I don't feel like they were the darlings of the NFL. I do feel like the Chiefs are the darling of the NFL and they can't do no wrong. And I also feel like this is like they're 3-0, but they could easily be 1-2 or 0-3. Very easily. So, but I still think that too many injuries on the Chargers, so I picked Kansas City. The next game is the Bills at Ravens. This is a Sunday night game. Baltimore is favored by 2.5. The over and under is 45.5. Ron, who'd you go with?
I'm going with the favorite. I'm going with Baltimore. I've been, like I said, high on them. They were inside my rankings, top 10. You yelled at me for that, gave me crap. And they went out and beat the Cowboys. And at one point, they were blowing them out.
And then what happened, Ron? Keep going. Then what happened?
They took their foot off the gas. That's what happened.
And that should be a top 10 team when they don't play all 4 quarters.
Absolutely. They took their foot off the gas. But I
have a number for you, Ron. 39 points. Okay. That's how many points they've given up in the fourth quarter to all 3 teams. They almost lost to Dallas by 3. They won by 3.
They did not.
They gave up 19 points in the fourth quarter. How can you say that this team is a top 10 team?
When they beat Buffalo this week, I want them in your top 5, okay? That's all I'm saying.
And why are you so high on Baltimore? This is not even your team.
No, it's not, but I think they're a good team. I mean, it'd be stupid to say that they're not a good team. You have Lamar, 2-time MVP, Derrick Henry, the king of all running backs.
If it wasn't for the Browns and Cincy being so bad this year, I would say that they have no chance of making the playoffs. But because Cincy and Cleveland are so bad.
Oh, so now they got a chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, because
you wrote them off last week. What happened?
What happened is Cincy's 0-3, and the Browns are 1-2. That's what happens. So yeah, okay. you have a bad division. That's what happens. You have a bad division.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll talk more when we get to the rankings because I did take a peek at yours and see how highly you think of the Bills.
Yes.
So like I said, I suspect if the Ravens win, then there'll be a major shift in your thinking, and either the Bills will be outside of your top 10 or the Ravens will be in your top 10.
Listen, 3-1 teams are not outside my top 10.
Okay, so despite a loss, right? Despite losing to the Ravens, you'll have the Ravens outside.
If you have 3 losses, yes, you should not be in the top 10. You should not be in the top 10. So anyways, yes, I am going with Buffalo. I think Buffalo is the best team in the NFL right now. They're number 1. Forget Kansas City. Forget all those other 3-0 teams. Buffalo is number 1. I think that Buffalo is going to handle their business and beat Baltimore.
Okay.
Monday night, again, with the 2 games. How do you feel about having 2 games, right?
It's terrible. It's terrible. It would have made more sense if they were going to do this, and they shouldn't do this. It would have made more sense to maybe start one game at on the East Coast, at 6 or something like that. Start the other at 9. So you can get a chance to watch both, but it's terrible. You can't watch both, so I don't know why they're doing it. I just don't like it.
I was against it. And then when I saw that Jacksonville was getting blown out, it was nice to have a second option. It was nice to have a second option. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. Titans at the Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 1.5. 37.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, these teams will probably both tie 0-0, but give me Tennessee. I got them winning this one. If they don't, there's got to be some changes to the quarterback position if they can't pull off a win against a third-string quarterback and whoever Miami rolls out there, this week.
Are they both 0-3?
Let me take a look at the standings real quick. I believe so.
So this is like a poo-poo game. This is yes, you can win. You can be the best, worst team in the NFL. No, Miami has 1 win. And I think they just signed Huntley. Tyler Huntley, yeah. I don't know. You say you love Mike McDaniels, and now he doesn't have a QB, so is he capable of winning this game? I think he is. I think this is his throw the kitchen sink at Tennessee. Because Tennessee, Will Levis makes some dumb mistakes. Dumb mistakes. And I think that he's going to make a lot of mistakes. It's going to be hot. Boston, Miami. I don't know. I got Miami, but again, this could easily be the poo-poo game of the week. The final game, Seattle at Detroit. Ron, who'd you go with? Detroit is favored by 4 points. 46.5 is the over and under.
Yeah, give me Detroit. I got them winning this one. I know Seattle isn't playing too bad, but I got Detroit winning this one.
Yeah, I got Detroit winning this one. And I like what the Seahawks are doing, but I don't think Walker is back, right? I think he's still injured.
Yeah. And Branch is hurt. That's going to be a big loss for Detroit if he's not able to play. But I still think they're the better team.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to get that magic that they had last year. They just, again, when we always talk about this, not having a real preseason, not playing people out there, not having a real off season, OTAs and all that. It's just the teams. It takes a while for offenses to get going, right? Unless you're McVay or McDaniels or Shanahan, you're just not gonna go pedal to the gas right off the bat, right? I think that's going on in Detroit right now. They haven't worked out the kinks yet, but I picked Detroit to win it.
And out of these 3-0 teams, or these undefeated teams, I think Seattle is the most suspect. Just because if you look at the teams they've beaten so far, right? The Broncos, and that was 26-20, right? The Patriots, 23-20. And then the Dolphins, 24-3. So, and Dolphins are on their third string quarterback. So those teams aren't any good. What's the combined record of the three teams right there? Broncos, Patriots, Dolphins. Probably talking three wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, we'll see if they are able to go into Detroit and beat them. Then props to them. But the Lions, to me, are the better team here.
Yeah, I picked the Lions too. So let's go into our teams, Ron. And let's go at New England at San Francisco. When I checked the spread, it was 10.5. I think it went down to 9.5, but that's still very, very high. Over and under is 39.5. Ron, what's your pick?
Yeah, give me San Francisco 23-10. I think they'll cover that 10.5. I don't think they'll get to 40 or 39.5 points. But I think San Fran will win pretty easily.
Yes, take the under. Take the under. Even though Purdy has been playing pretty well, Brandon Ayuk is terrible. I don't know what happened.
I'll say he's terrible.
He got bit and then he stopped trying. I don't know what else to say. Kittle is hurt. McCaffrey, we already talked about. He's in Germany. This team is hurting, but I think the defense is going to pull it out. My prediction is 10-21. And I don't even know if New England gets to 10 points. That's neither here or there. I think they have a good kicker, but again, you can't punch it in, right? The next game, Pittsburgh at Indy. Pittsburgh is favored by 2, which again is a slap in the face. 39.5 is the over and under. Ron, who'd you pick?
Believe it or not, I got Indy winning this game. I think this is a trap game for Pittsburgh. This is one of those games you look back on the schedule and say, how the hell did Pittsburgh lose? And I think this week is things are falling into line. The number of injuries we've had this week. So Ty Smith's going to be out for a couple weeks, for example. Who else is out? Jalen Warren's been out, not practicing with the hamstring. You had Najee, who will play, but he was in a sling. His arm was in a sling after the Chargers game, so he's banged up a little bit. I think it's a perfect trap game. And, I got Indianapolis winning this one 23-20.
I got Steelers winning 17-10 because the Indy defense is just so bad. They give up the most rushing yards, the most passing yards. I don't know what that scheme that they're running, if they have enough good players to run that scheme. They need to change it up. And I feel like Steelers, even with all the injuries you just mentioned, they're just a better team. I think that Richardson, he's just not a good QB, and maybe he'll be in the future, but not right now. And if I had to choose between Fields and Richardson, give me Fields. I mean, Richardson will have an amazing play, but then he'll just overthrow guys left and right. Underthrow guys left and right. I don't know. I'm not a Richardson fan right now. Ron, what's your upset special?
Yeah, so Dallas at the Giants. You mentioned Dallas was favored by 4.5, I believe. I know they're not playing that well. Dallas isn't. New York just coming off a win. Maybe that gives them a little bit of momentum here, give them some confidence. Giants, as I mentioned, doing the right things by feeding Neighbors. I think they'll continue to do that. Singletary's running the ball pretty well. Dallas has no run defense whatsoever. I got the Giants winning this one 26-24.
What was the point spread?
Dallas by 4.5.
44.5 is the over and under.
Over under, yeah.
So you think that they go over?
I do. I think both these teams' defense aren't really necessarily playing that great to start the season.
I got Dallas on this game, and I picked them last game against Baltimore because I thought not 2 weeks in a row they're not gonna be embarrassed, and they were very embarrassed. I don't know. Does McCarthy, if he doesn't win this game, and by the time that we see our friend Chris, the game has already been played, but he'll be in a good mood if the Giants win. If Dallas loses to the Giants and they go 1-3, is this the end for McCarthy?
No, not in the middle of the season, if that's what you're asking. At the end of the season, yeah, I think his job might be at risk if they can't win a playoff game, for sure. But they're not going to make any changes mid-season, no.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, not mid-season, because they didn't get an extension, right? He didn't get this is his final year, basically. And I think Jerry Jones is like, the only way you could save this season or get an extension is by winning the Super Bowl. And we know that hasn't happened in like 30 plus years. But I still like Dallas. My upset special, Ron. Washington at Arizona. The spread is Arizona by 3.5. The over and under is 49.5. I predict, first of all, I'm riding Jaden Daniels. I know that his defense, he played against the Bengals, he played against the Giants, but he's been legit. He knows what he's doing. Robinson, he's a pretty good running back. I think he's a pretty good running back. I don't know if Arizona, I thought that the defense would be better this year. I don't know why they're allowing so many points. I just don't think they have the roster, but I'm going to pick them to win this game 24-13. And Arizona might score more points than that. I might take the over, actually. I think they're going to go over 49.5. I'm riding the hype, man. I'm riding the hype in Jaden Daniels.
So what's your final score going to be then? Are you changing your score?
24, I'll say 24-21. We change that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it's a close game, but the way Daniels, the only thing that I'm concerned about him is that he doesn't like to slide, and for some reason, when he runs with the ball, he doesn't go out of bounds. And buddy, you're a skinny guy. You want to make it to the next quarter. you don't want to go in the blue tent. Just slide. Just go out of bounds. But having said all that, I think they got a good one. And Kingsbury, I think he's going to be up for this game because Arizona fired him. So I like this game. I think it's going to be on the YouTube quad circle, so to speak.
Okay.